Imagine you could travel back in time. You step out of the time machine. Suddenly you are in ancient Egypt. You see towering pyramids. The hot desert sun beats down. The Nile River flows by. This is a civilization obsessed with life after death. The ancient Egyptians believed death was a transition. It was a journey to another world. They believed in an afterlife. They thought it was more important than life on Earth. They spent their lives preparing for it. Their beliefs shaped everything. They built massive tombs, they filled them with treasures, they developed elaborate rituals, they even mummified their dead. They wanted to preserve their bodies for eternity. This wasn't just for pharaohs, this was for everyone. Rich or poor, everyone deserved a good afterlife. These beliefs, rituals and practices are a window into their world. They show us what they valued. For the ancient Egyptians, death was not the end. It was simply a new beginning. Imagine a door closing on one life. Then imagine another door opening to a new existence. This is how they saw it. They believed in the human soul. They called it the Ka. They believed it was immortal. They believed it lived on after the body died. But the soul needed help to reach the afterlife. It needed guidance and provisions. That's where their rituals came in. These rituals were not just ceremonies, they were acts of compassion. They were ways to help the deceased on their journey. They were acts of faith. They showed the importance of the afterlife to their culture. These beliefs might seem strange to us today, but they were central to the ancient Egyptians. They provide valuable insights into their worldview. They show us how they made sense of life and death. The ancient Egyptians had a complex understanding of the afterlife. They didn't just believe in one heaven or hell, they envisioned a whole other world. This world was full of gods, monsters, and challenges. The journey to the afterlife was not easy. It was fraught with danger. The soul had to navigate treacherous landscapes. It had to face judgment from the gods. Only then could it reach a paradise. This journey is depicted in their art. It is described in their texts. It reveals their hopes and fears. It shows their deep desire for immortality. By understanding their beliefs, we can understand them better. We can appreciate their rich culture and legacy. In the next section, we will explore the fascinating concept of the soul in ancient Egypt. The ancient Egyptians believed in a soul, but not just one soul. They believed in multiple parts. Each part had a role in the afterlife. The soul was like a chariot. It needed all its parts to function. This belief wasn't morbid. It was about understanding life. They believed life on earth was temporary, but the soul was eternal. The Ka was the most important part of the soul. Imagine a mirror reflecting your image. The Ka was like that mirror image. It was your double. It was born with you. It lived inside you. The Egyptians believed the afterlife. When you died, your Ka didn't die. It lived on, but it needed sustenance. It needed offerings of food and drink. That's why they left offerings in tombs. They wanted to nourish the Ka of the deceased. These offerings weren't just physical, they were also spiritual. They were acts of love and respect. They were a way to connect with the deceased. They were a way to help them on their journey. The Ka was a powerful concept. It showed the importance of the individual. It showed the belief in an enduring spirit, their desire to care for their loved ones even after death. Now imagine a bird with a human head. This is the Ba. It was another part of the soul, but unlike the Ka, the Ba was free. It could fly between the worlds of the living and the dead. The Ba was associated with movement and freedom. It was believed to leave the body after death. It would then travel to the afterlife. But it would also return to visit loved ones. It could even inhabit statues in the tomb. The Egyptians believed the Ba allowed the deceased to experience the world again. It allowed them to stay connected to their loved ones. It was a symbol of hope and remembrance. The Ba, like the Ka, needed care. It needed the prayers and rituals of the living. These acts of devotion helped the Ba navigate the afterlife. They ensured its safe passage to the land of the dead. The final part of the soul was the Akh. Imagine a radiant being of pure light. This was the Akh. It was the transformed soul. It was the soul that had successfully navigated the afterlife. The Akh was the ultimate goal. It was about achieving a state of divine unity. It was about merging with the cosmic forces of the universe. It represented the triumph of the spirit over death. But achieving Akh status was not easy. It required a pure heart. It required passing the tests of the afterlife. It required living a virtuous life. The ancient Egyptians believed that everyone could achieve Akh status, but it required effort, both in life and in death. The concept of the Akh gave them something to strive for. It gave them a vision of eternal bliss. In the next section, we will delve into the intricate details of burial practices in ancient Egypt. Imagine a city where the living never tread. This was the necropolis, the city of the dead. Ancient Egyptians built these cities on the west bank of the Nile. The setting sun symbolized the end of life. It was a powerful reminder of their beliefs. These weren't just cemeteries, they were sprawling complexes. They were filled with tombs of all sizes. Some tombs were simple mud brick structures, others were grand monuments to pharaohs. These cities were meticulously planned. They reflected the social hierarchy of the living world. The closer you were to the afterlife, the closer your tomb was to the western horizon. The Egyptians believed the dead still needed homes. Tombs weren't just burial places, they were eternal residences. They were places where the deceased could live on in comfort and style. The ancient Egyptians were masters of preservation. They developed mummification to ensure the survival of the body after death. They believed the soul needed a physical form to return to. Mummification was their way of providing that form. The process was long and complex. It took about 70 days. It involved removing internal organs. It involved drying the body with salts. It involved wrapping the body in layers of linen. Each step was crucial. Each step had religious significance. Priests performed these steps with great care. They used special tools and ingredients. They followed strict rituals passed down through generations. The result was a preserved body. It could last for thousands of years. Mummification wasn't just about preserving the flesh. It was about preserving the soul's connection to the physical world. The ancient Egyptians believed in preparing for the afterlife. They filled their tombs with everything they might need. This included food and drink. It included furniture and clothing. It even included games and entertainment. They decorated tomb walls with vibrant paintings. These paintings depicted scenes from daily life. They depicted scenes from the afterlife. They served as guides for the deceased. They offered comfort and reassurance. The Egyptians believed in surrounding the deceased with beauty. They filled tombs with jewelry, weapons, and other precious objects. These were not just material possessions. They were symbols of status and achievement. They were meant to accompany the deceased into eternity. These burial goods provide valuable insights into their beliefs. They tell us about their values. They tell us about their hopes and dreams. They paint a vivid picture of their world and their place within it. The pyramids are the most iconic symbols of ancient Egypt. They are monumental tombs built for pharaohs. They are testaments to their power and their belief in the afterlife. These massive structures took decades to build and required the labor of thousands of workers. They were precisely aligned with the stars and were engineering marvels of their time. Inside the pyramids lay hidden chambers, which housed the pharaoh's burial chamber. These chambers were filled with treasures and protected by traps and curses. The pyramids were not just tombs, they were symbols of the pharaoh's divinity. They were connections between the earthly realm and the heavens, meant to ensure the pharaoh's safe passage to the afterlife. Death was not the end for the ancient Egyptians. It was the beginning of a perilous journey. Imagine a boat sailing west across the sky, carrying the sun god Ra into the underworld each night. The Egyptians believed the souls of the dead followed the same path. The entrance to the underworld was a mysterious place called Amenti. It was a realm of darkness and shadows, guarded by fearsome creatures. These creatures tested the worthiness of the deceased. The ancient Egyptians believed that even pharaohs had to prove themselves worthy. No one could escape judgment, not even kings. Everyone faced the same fate and had to account for their actions in life. This belief showed their strong sense of justice and their belief in a moral universe. They believed in consequences for one's actions, which shaped their behavior in life and gave them hope for a just afterlife. The weighing of the heart ceremony was crucial in the underworld. A heart was weighed against Ma'at's feather of truth. Anubis oversaw the ceremony. A pure heart passed the test. A heavy heart faced Amit's devouring. This emphasized morality and a virtuous life. Section 3. The Hall of Two Truths, Confessions of a Lifetime. Before the weighing of the heart, the soul faced another test. In the Hall of Two Truths, the soul declared its innocence. It recited the negative confession, affirming righteousness. 42 gods judged these declarations. They represented Ma'at and knew the truth. This ceremony emphasized honesty and integrity. Section 4. Navigating the Underworld, a perilous journey to paradise. Passing the weighing of the heart was just the beginning. The soul faced a long, dangerous journey. The underworld was vast and complex, filled with challenges and obstacles. The soul navigated treacherous landscapes, crossed rivers of fire, outwitted demons and monsters, overcame tests of courage and wisdom, guided by spells and prayers. Written on papyrus scrolls, the Book of the Dead, a guidebook for the afterlife, contained hymns, prayers and magical formulas to protect the soul, ensuring safe passage to the field of reeds, a paradise of peace and abundance, mirroring the Nile River Valley, reunited with loved ones, living in eternal bliss. Section 1. Echoes of Eternity, Shared Beliefs Across Cultures. The ancient Egyptians weren't alone in their fascination with the afterlife. Civilizations worldwide grappled with death and the afterlife. Each culture had unique beliefs, yet shared a desire to understand mortality. Mesopotamians believed in the Kur, similar to the Egyptian Duat. Greeks envisioned Hades, where souls faced their fates. These shared themes suggest a universal human experience. Examining these similarities reveals shared anxieties and aspirations. One striking similarity across cultures is the concept of judgment in the afterlife. The Egyptians believed in the weighing of the heart ceremony, where the heart of the deceased was weighed against the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth. This ceremony determined if the soul was worthy of entering the afterlife. Similarly, the ancient Greeks believed that souls were judged in the underworld. They faced the three judges of the underworld, Minos, Rhadamanthus and Aeacus. These judges, like the Egyptian Anubis, assessed the deeds of the deceased and assigned punishments or rewards accordingly. This shared theme of judgment reflects a universal human desire for justice. It suggests a belief that actions have consequences even after death. This concept likely served as a powerful motivator for moral behavior, encouraging individuals to live virtuous lives in preparation for the ultimate judgment. While these shared themes are compelling, it's important to acknowledge the diverse ways in which ancient cultures envisioned the afterlife. The Egyptian afterlife was a complex and multi-layered realm, with different levels of existence depending on the virtue of the deceased. The Greeks, on the other hand, envisioned different destinations for souls in the afterlife. Virtuous souls were rewarded with an eternity in the Elysian fields, a paradise of peace and happiness. The wicked were punished in Tartarus, a deep abyss of suffering. These differing views reflect the unique cultural values and beliefs of each civilization. The Egyptians, with their emphasis on order and balance, envisioned an afterlife meticulously structured around the principle of Ma'at. The Greeks, with their focus on individual achievement and glory, imagined an afterlife where heroes were celebrated and the wicked faced eternal torment. Despite their differences, these ancient afterlife beliefs continue to fascinate and inspire us today. They offer a glimpse into the human psyche, revealing our deepest fears and aspirations. They speak to our innate desire to understand death and find meaning in the face of mortality. The intricate rituals, the elaborate myths, and the profound moral lessons embedded in these ancient beliefs continue to resonate with modern audiences. They remind us of the enduring power of storytelling and the human need to find meaning and purpose in a world often defined by uncertainty. While our understanding of the world has evolved significantly since the time of the ancient Egyptians and Greeks, their fascination with the afterlife continues to captivate our imaginations. Their stories serve as a testament to the enduring power of belief and the timeless human quest to understand our place in the cosmos. The ancient Egyptians lived in a world bathed in sunlight, yet their thoughts often turned to darkness, death, and the afterlife. Millennia have passed since the pharaohs ruled, yet their beliefs still resonate with surprising power. Why do these ancient stories continue to captivate? Perhaps it's the sheer scale of their ambition. The Egyptians built monumental tombs filled with treasures to ensure a comfortable afterlife. This grand vision of eternity speaks to our desires for permanence and legacy. The ancient Egyptians' insights into the human condition remain remarkably relevant. Their rituals reveal our deepest fears, aspirations, and quest for meaning. The weighing of the heart highlights the importance of living a virtuous life. Our actions have consequences, reminding us of our shared humanity. The Egyptian focus on the afterlife encourages us to consider our own legacy. We can strive to live purposeful lives, leaving a positive impact. In an age of scientific advancement and technological marvels, it's tempting to dismiss ancient beliefs as outdated or irrelevant. Yet the questions that plagued the ancient Egyptians remain as pertinent as ever. What happens after we die? Is there a higher power? What is the meaning of life? Science has provided us with an unprecedented understanding of the physical world, but it cannot offer definitive answers to these existential questions. In the absence of concrete answers, we, like the ancient Egyptians, must grapple with uncertainty, seeking meaning and solace in our own ways. The Egyptians found comfort in their intricate beliefs, their rituals, and their gods. Today we may find solace in different forms: religion, spirituality, philosophy, art, or simply in the connections we forge with others. The important thing is to acknowledge the mystery, to embrace the unknown and to find our own ways of making sense of the world and our place within it. The ancient Egyptians embarked on a metaphorical journey through the underworld, facing trials and tribulations in their quest for eternal life. We too are on a journey not through a physical underworld, but through the uncharted territory of our own lives. We face our own challenges, our own moments of doubt and despair, and our own search for meaning and purpose. The ancient Egyptian beliefs, though separated from us by thousands of years, offer a timeless reminder of the human condition. They remind us that we are all travelers on this journey, searching for answers, seeking connection, and striving to leave our mark on the world. As we contemplate the legacy of the ancient Egyptians, let us remember that their story is not just about death and the afterlife.